This is awesome.
How did you blur your background?
It's whenever I was on here last time, that's when I did it because someone else interviewed me and I already had it blurred. Don't ask me how, but yeah.
Whatever. You're seeing my closet. Welcome everyone. Oh my gosh, we did it. We did it.
Yay.
Oh my goodness. This is so exciting. We are live together and I know we share a lot of the same audience on our channels. And so this is going to be really fun for them. Hi, Jerry. She's back.
Yay.
Hopefully Eve will also join again. Let's give it a few minutes. Oh, there she is. Yay. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And thanks to the tech mishap, I was able to put my baby back to bed. He stirred a bit. And so now we're good. So
good.
Tell us what you're doing now. Let's start there. What you're doing now, and are you still getting coaching from Cole and all of this stuff?
Yes. Okay. So, all right. I'm just sharing this live to everyone right now. So there we go. All right. So, okay. So what am I doing now? Okay. So let me just back up a little bit. I come from, well, I don't know, a couple of different backgrounds as far as health and nutrition is concerned. So, I have always been in the low carb realm. Okay. Always. Let me turn this off. I've always been in the low carb realm. Okay. Even when I was a teenager, how did I maintain my weight as a teenager? I was always high protein, low carb because I got exposed to bodybuilders because of my brother and my uncles. They all power lifted, and I was always intrigued with bodybuilding. So I remember talking to someone and they were like, hey, if you're trying to lose weight, you want to preserve muscle. So go high protein. No matter what else you do, make sure it's high protein. So that's what I did. And that's how I was, even as a teenager, kind of like maintaining my weight because I've never been naturally like thin, right? And then I got introduced to Atkins and I did that for a little bit, but whatever. I got into bodybuilding, I competed, and I still kept like a high protein, moderate fat, low carb. And then I found keto and carnivore, which was similar to Atkins. And I went into that world, right, for a very long time. And I'm kind of still in that. So then the sugar diet comes around because I was wanting to do something different. I was like, you know what? I was like, I know that this works, but I think my body just needs something different. So Cole Robinson was like talking about the sugar diet. And I was like, what? Right? What is this? So back in April. So I called him and, we set up a consult. And so basically it was fruit all day long. Just focus on fruit, and he even talked about hard hitting sugars. Like when you first wake up, just down some orange juice, go to the gym, and then do fruit, and then do lean meat at night. And I was like, okay, I can do fruit all day and lean meat at night with veggies. I can do that. That's fine. Because I was already transitioning to animal-based anyways, right, from keto carnivore. So animal-based is basically, meat mostly, but with fruit and veg in there. So I just switched it to lean meat. Okay. So then he started talking about sugar fasting and I did that. And then that's when we connected more in like May, because I had already found success with just the sugar diet, just doing that. But I kept quiet because I am in the keto carnivore animal-based space. So I kept quiet because I wanted to see if it worked. And it was slow because for me, I don't care what I do. Weight loss is kind of slow for me, always has been. And what I mean by slow is I'm not someone who like loses a pound a week. It's usually like 0.75, 0.8 on average, right? Which is fine, but whatever. Anyways, but so I was like, he's like, do sugar fasting, just, fruit all day, fruit juice if you want. And I was like, that goes against everything I know. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. and I did it. I did it for 3 days. And then I broke with lean protein. And then I did it again for 7 days. Yeah. And my cat, oh my gosh.
I can hear your cat. I didn't want to say anything, but it
oh
sounds
my gosh.
so
Yes. Okay.
Like,
as soon as
it's not my baby.
Yeah, as soon as I see her, I'll move her out.
It's
but
okay.
Because I don't know where she's at. Oh, there she is. Hold on. Let me like get her out of here. Okay. Come on.
So for whoever's watching, you can put questions in the comments. I will try to get to the questions for sure. And if I skip your question, I will just write it again if it goes really fast. So I'm just telling people to put questions in the comments.
Okay. And then I'll wrap up. Okay.
No,
so basically,
don't wrap up. Keep going.
Okay.
So we love cats, right, Evelyn?
Yes. I'm like, oh, she's so loud. Anyways, and so yeah, so I did the sugar fasting for like a couple of intervals, right? And we would message each other and I was like, yeah, this and that. And I know, because I know about nutrition and, I know all the things, I knew I was like playing with fire because of no protein. Right. And especially after a certain age, you have to do everything in your power to keep muscle. Okay. So that is so imperative. But in my mind, and I still feel this way, if it's something short term, like if you're just trying to get lean for a photo shoot or fit into a dress, honestly, if you do a few days in a row of sugar fasting or fruit fasting, whatever, it's not going to hurt you. No. Now, if you do it prolonged, if like you do 7 or more days and you keep rotating that, that's when I'm like, okay, that's when you're playing with fire. I would not recommend that. Yeah. But like, if you just want to do a few days and, kind of clean out or whatever, it's not a big deal, because the carnivore people, they're doing fat fasting. And it's the same exact thing, just using another energy source.
Right.
But to me, it's not sustainable. I can't even do that for a day.
But people also don't feel as negatively towards fat as they do sugar. And so it's like, oh, but they're just eating fat. Well, okay. Like,
I honestly,
cool.
It's so funny. So I'm definitely going to get back to that statement because I totally get that. I have transitioned into higher protein, which is what I've always done. But I still have fruit and veg, of course. I just keep the protein lean. And now I'm not going to lie, people, if I feel like I need to get some stuff off really quick, I will do it. And am I still getting will I do the sugar fast? Yes, I will do a few days of that if I feel like I need to. Like, it's a good reset. Just like people will do a sardine fast or a fat fast
or a juice fast or a cleanse or this or that. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Now, I know it's not sustainable. So, and I don't approach things thinking they're sustainable like that. So I know better. But am I still getting coached by Coach Cole? Yes, I do consult him. I do still consult him. And so I know he's really, really wanting me to get rid of the scale and not track and just go by food choice and whatever. Okay. So
how do you feel about all that? Yeah, I want to hear about it because
okay.
I had a call with him today too, and he said the same thing, and it's freaking me out.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. I weigh myself every day. I come from, like I said before, bodybuilding, and my coaches to track to get a trend, not the entire time, but for a good chunk of time when they needed data, I would weigh myself every day and we take the average. Now, I'm okay with weighing myself every day. I know who he deals with. I know he deals with people who get on the scale and they're like, oh my God, I'm down a pound or I'm up a pound. I need to do this. I don't react that way. I don't react that way because I know that whatever I do, like on a Sunday, I'll probably see it reflect on the scale on a Tuesday. That's how in tune I am with my body. If
Right.
I do an intense leg workout, I know I'm going to be up the
You're
next
going to be
day.
up for
You know,
sure.
you know what I mean? So it's like I know all of these things. So am I taking a break from the scale just because? Yes, I am. But guarantee I'll probably be back on next week just to see how I'm doing. Because like the biggest thing for me, and this is what I preach to my clients or just people in general that I'm talking to, you have to know thyself. You have to know yourself. So you know, if something just trips you up and creates stress for you, then don't do it. Like if you're not going to track your food, um then figure out another way to like just hone in on what you're doing and making sure everything's on point. That's why he's talking about food choice so much. Like, if you're not going to track, well, then you better make sure that you
Right.
are eating lean meat, fish, egg whites, and stuff like that, and fruit and veg, and starch if you want, potatoes more than rice, because you can easily overeat rice versus potatoes, because potatoes are one of the most satiating things besides lean protein. So it's like all those things, you know what I'm saying? And fat-free dairy, if you're going to include dairy. Okay, so if you eat like that, you don't necessarily have to track.
Well,
Um,
I think the rationale is that it forces you, like you were saying, it forces you to it's almost like you're scared. I mean, this is how I interpreted it when he explained it to me. It's like you're scared to mess up because you can't like get away with it if you're not weighing. Like if you I know mentally, like if I, overeat on something or eat something that's off my plan,
yeah,
and I weigh normally the next day, I haven't gained weight. I'm like, yes, I got away with it,
yeah,
but I shouldn't have eaten that thing in the first place.
yeah,
So I think it's more about that. And Eve is saying that I saw her video that she put her scale in the closet. And I think we should start a movement of like not weighing on the scale, like not weighing ourselves every day, not even every week, because I love what Eve was saying too, is non-scale victories. Like, what does your body look like? What's your shape? What does your fat, like, is there fat over your muscle? Is your stomach bulging? Are your clothes fitting different? Like all of those cool things, right? Because literally the other day I shared with you, I lost 3.8 pounds in one day. It was so cool. And I shouldn't think it's cool. I shouldn't think it's amazing, but it freaking felt amazing.
yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
that's the issue, right? There's no way I lost 3.8 pounds. It was all water.
Oh yeah,
I had a smaller bowel movement the day before and a huge bowel movement the day of that weight. So, like, and I weighed myself after. So, like, there's so many factors that are not real, and
yeah.
you get so connected to the emotion of it. And I think, yeah, I think we should just eat healthy. I mean, listen to me, whatever. Whatever, like, right? We should
I know.
even like be thin. Well, okay.
Yeah. You know what? It's so funny. Okay, so here's an argument against because I'm Switzerland. Like I can put the scale away and be fine. Um not for indefinitely, but for a time. Like I can do that, no problem. And then I can keep it. Okay, so for me, weighing weighing every day. I don't look when I weigh every day, I don't look at the daily weight. I don't put
Right.
any context to the daily weight, except for like, oh, I had a lot of salt yesterday. That's why I'm up. Or I didn't drink enough water. That's why I'm down.
For you.
I take the 7 days and I average it out. And then that 7-day average added up, divide by 7, that average I compare week by week.
Okay, so let me ask you something.
So that's what I've done.
Let me ask you something. In your experience, your personal experience, does weight really matter? Because we're fixated on weight right now. I mean, you and I were so close to our goal, and we're in a similar boat. We're the same height. We're this like similar weight. We're similar goals, right?
Yeah.
And I remember 2 years ago when I was going into the pregnancy of my little guy, I weighed probably 7 or 8 pounds more than I do now. But I was jacked. Like I had so much muscle. I was working out all the time. I was very, very strong. I had a much flatter stomach because I've since had a baby again. And so all of that. So does weight really matter? My clothes fit the same now, but I just don't have as much muscle.
Okay. So for me, this is a loaded question because for me, it does, and I'll tell you why. Okay. Short answer, no. But for me, because I am so in tune with my body and because of the experience I do have, I know what I can project what I will look like at a certain weight. Not everybody can do that. But like you said, composition is what matters. And so I can just know by just feeling and just by looking where my composition is. And regardless of the weight. And I know if I'm like at 135, I can look better at 135 than 130. So, but if you're not that in tune, I think honestly, weight is important. However, composition is just important. And if you're not fully like in tune with your body and know, because I've done DEXA, I've done InBody, like, you know what I mean? Like to really get to the nitty gritty, I've done all those things too. If you aren't as in tune, I think that you need to use the mirror, measuring, and the scale. Okay. And so, our lovely Coach Cole would be like, no, throw it away, blah, blah. But I think he doesn't understand that, like, I'm cool. I'm good. Like, I'm good. I'm calm down.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, we can get advice from anyone we want and still do our own thing. Like there's so much negativity about Cole, and I can understand people's perspective of why they're negative about him, but it's also like your own choice to listen to him or not. And to like, it's just so stupid. Like, aren't we all adults? Like,
right. Exactly. That's the thing. And that's the thing. It's like, he's talking to a large audience. But as far as I'm concerned, like with my clients, I take you as a person and I'm like, okay, so what I tell you is not going to be the same as what I tell someone else.
Right.
It's going to be different. And so I don't know. I definitely am going to take a break from the scale. How long that's going to be, I don't know. But I know that after my trip, I know that I really will take probably a good hiatus from it. It's just right now, I like when I have a goal in mind, like I don't really care what anyone tells me. When I have a goal in mind, I am laser focused on that goal. And I'm going to do whatever I need to do to get to that goal. And then afterwards, then I'll be like, all right, now let's use some common sense. Because here's the thing, like 6 or 7 days is nothing. And so I've done things before that are like quick to get a quick result. And I know going in, that is what I'm doing. And then when I'm done, I go back to my sensible, high protein, whole foods diet, which is I've eaten this way, like this is my go-to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but it is tricky because I've gotten a lot of, coming from the low carb space, I've gotten so many DMs, like so many DMs, so many. And carnivores who've done this, and they just flopped and they went into binge eating.
Really?
And yes.
Oh,
And
more
oh
about
my God. Yes. If you guys don't follow Kelly Hogan on YouTube, follow Kelly Hogan, or just check out her latest YouTube videos. I'm not going to name who's contacted me, but it's an example, her latest video of carnivores who tried the sugar diet and went off the rails. But I think it's because it goes back to know thyself. They are, and they admit this, they are true food addicts. True. I didn't have that problem. Like when I did, but I also didn't really include a lot of candy. I don't know. I think that, but see, to me, in the absence of fat, like the drive to overeat was just not there for me. Like, I don't know. I didn't go off the rails, but they
No,
did.
I didn't either.
They did, man.
Whenever I have enough carbohydrates in my food, I don't overeat. It's I overeat on carbohydrates when I restrict them, and then a few days later I overcompensate. So
Yeah,
that's for
I
me.
know. And I think it's because it's the absence of fat. Because like, okay, all the food that I want to like go crazy on, it's a combination of carbs and fat.
Yeah.
Like it's chocolate, it's cookies, it's donuts. Like that is what I want to overdo. If I'm just having like fruit, or heck, even if I'm at the movies, like, okay, let's get some gummy bears, whatever. No fat. Like I don't want to overeat that. Like, I don't know. But
Yeah.
fruit, potatoes, like I'm not overeating that. But what they did was they were like talking about how they weren't overeating the fruit, but in their brain, they were like, okay, I'm already off my carnivore plan and I'm having fruit. So I might as well have this and that. So it's that all or nothing thinking that can get you in trouble.
Well, Eve is saying in the chat here, I haven't had as much food noise since doing the sugar diet. And I agree. I have that too. Like my food noise was loud when I was restricting carbs, or, thinking sugar was bad or whatever. And I think for females, it's really, really important for us to have plenty of carbohydrates, sometimes even hard-hitting sugars, even though I committed to cold, to not include too many, too much of that. I mean, I just came off of sugar diet and sugar fasting for 3 months, like on and off. And I did use candy. I did use sugar. I have always admitted that. But what I'm saying is I think carbohydrates are extremely important for women, extremely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's so interesting. It's like, I totally, okay. So Mark Bell, okay. I'm going to be honest. Mark Smelly Bell, you guys, if you don't follow him, follow him. I'm part of his like members only thing too, because usually when I join those things, I immediately delete it because it's like pointless. I'm like, oh, this is stupid. They're not doing anything extra. Well, Mark, he does extra. And I am so glad. If there's anyone I relate to most in this new like sugar diet, low fat, high carb thing. And by the way, everyone, I'm a coach in a carnivore group, but I coach. I'm not there to coach carnivore because I'm there to talk about weight training. weight training and fitness. That's why I'm there. And I'm also there to like interview people. And so I have the insight of carnivore, keto, and this. And so I kind of bring everything to the table because I do believe that carnivore is helpful as an elimination diet to help you figure things out. So I definitely am an advocate for that. But anyways, my point is that Mark Bell has done all of it just like me too. And so he posted something today. I think this one he posted to everybody was how you can kind of use all of these things as a tool to like navigate through life. And that's how I feel, because what he was saying, I was like, oh my gosh, you're speaking my language, dude. Like, he's like, listen, if you're out and you're out of town, like me back in June, right? I did OMAD. Do I do OMAD every day? No, but I did one meal a day on my vacation, because I was like, okay, there's going to be mixed macro meals that everyone's going to want to go out to dinner, so I did OMAD. There's times where if I'm like at dinner, like with my husband or friends, it'll be a keto, carnivore meal. And so like during the day, I'll focus mostly on protein. And at night, I'll have like a protein fat meal because that will fit for the day. The majority of my days I'm doing high protein, low fat. If I want to snap into something really quick, I might do a sugar fast for a few days. So you know what I'm saying? So he was talking of things like that, like kind of making things fit for you. And I'm like, that's me. That's what I do.
It's funny because my last video where I was saying like, did I quit the sugar diet, whatever. And I talk about how I'm like switching things up, and some of the comments, like, not that I care about the comments. And thank you, Eve. She messaged me. She's like, are you okay? Like, she saw the comments. Like, people are so rigid. Okay. They're so rigid in their thinking, and they're the judge, juror, and persecutioner or whatever. And they don't look in the mirror. They're in their house behind a screen. They don't have their own a picture up. They don't have their own YouTube channel where they're sharing everything, letting everything hang out. And they're just keyboard warriors. And it's like, we don't care about you. You're not even interesting. Like, this is, we are out here, like, we're experimenting, we're risking, we're having fun, we are pulling back, we're trying something new. Like, anyways, it's just so frustrating when people are so rigid in their thinking. And this is what you're saying. Like, you use different things in your toolbox for different reasons. You did OMAD on vacation. That worked because you didn't gain.
No.
Right? You and I did a little sugar fast buddy up like a few days ago, 2 days in a row. And now we don't do everything together, guys, don't worry. But we are on the high protein trend. And, today is day 2 for me. Only. And I feel great. I just feel good. And
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to build muscle. So like, I'm skinny fat now, which I'm glad I'm skinny, but I don't want, like, I have, some, whatever, I'm not strong anymore. And I want to be strong because
you want that, man. You do, because like, I think it's like in your 30s, like mid 30s and beyond, it's like sarcopenia starts to set in. In other words, your, muscle loss does. So you get in the gym, or like, if you don't like calisthenics, weightlifting, whatever it is, protein, you know what I mean, is golden. But has always been my stance. That has never changed. Even with the sugar diet, I still made it high protein, because at night I would have a lot of protein. The only time I did not do high protein is when I was doing a sugar fast. But when anyone is doing any kind of fast, they don't have a lot of protein.
That's right.
I mean, that's like water fast, dry fast, like,
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, this is so fun. some of the comments they're talking, like a lot of the women on here, Eve, Natasha, Jerry, are all saying that Carnivore and Patricia were like, Carnivore was leaving them hungry, leaving them craving, and the sugar fasting and sugar diet has taken all of that away, which I agree with. Craving. Yeah, and now I'm not afraid of carbs. I was afraid of carbs for so long, like many of us, and now I'm not afraid. And it's so exciting because I'm eating potatoes, I'm eating rice, I'm eating some bread. Cole is saying keep it completely clean, and I'll keep it as clean as I can. But dude, seriously.
Like, that's why
it's a slice of bread, okay, with a little jam. Like,
that is why it's good to keep, like, okay, so I understand when you are trying to lose weight, we just have the last few pounds, but I do understand sticking to a routine, being consistent is the best thing. Consistent on whatever it is, be consistent with it. So I do understand that. But I do think it's important to flex and work out your muscles as far as pivoting. Like, ooh, you know what? Family's in town tonight. So I don't know if it's not going to be perfect, that all or nothing thinking can get us in trouble. So if it's not going to be a perfect day where it's clean, then allow yourself to do the best. Like, okay, this looks the cleanest of what I have with my family here. I'm going to grab this and I'm going to, whatever, like just to don't stress out. Like, and because this might have more fat in it, well, I might go less carbs. If this meat dish has a little bit more fat than I think it might, I'm going to go less on the carbs. Like, you know what I mean? It just kind of figuring things out. And as far as the carnivore is concerned, there's so many carnivores that I know personally and that are now coming out. there's like a coming out movement. But anyways, I'm not going to name names, but some have started to come out and be like, you know what? I've healed my gut or I've healed this. Now I'm going to try and add some things back in. So there's a lot of that happening in the space. And so it's interesting. And so like, I don't know, I love it because with us, we realize that focusing on whole food carbs, people, we're not at the gas station just juggling candy down our throats, but whole food carbs kind of, number one, it's known to lower our cortisol. But it also it takes away the food noise. Mark Bell talks about him and his brother. They've struggled their whole lives.
Right.
And it's lessened the food noise for them too.
They're still
but just ladies, get the protein in. Don't forget, it's okay to have protein.
What's interesting? I was eating this way before I got pregnant. This is always before. The pregnancy just made me not want any protein, but that's beside the point. But before, and so when I was jacked, when I was really muscular, I would always eat as much protein as I needed, and then I would go for the carbs. But the thing I did wrong was I ate any protein. I did go for chicken breast, but I also liked dark meat. I also liked red meat. I didn't care about the fat because there's a kind of a message out there in the fitness industry. As long as your protein is on point, the fat and carbs can be interchangeable macros wise. And that's false, I believe now. But so I would eat my carbs after my meat, but I know my fat was like high. It was like sometimes 80 grams a day, which is pretty high for my size. And so, or more. And so I'm used to taste bud wise. I'm used to eating my protein first, like a lot of protein first, and then my carbs. So that's all you have to do. That's all us women have to do is fill up on protein and then eat carbs to taste as much as you want. Just don't do the fat.
And yes, and I agree. So what you just said a few minutes ago about how the carbs and fat can be interchangeable, when they say that, they're talking about like, okay, your protein should be constant. Usually it's it should match your lean body mass or your ideal weight. Not what you want to be, but the standard ideal weight. I'm 5'5", so standard ideal weight for me is 125. If I'm around 135, I'm happy. So when we say standard, like, the standard ideal weight. So my protein should at least be 120, 125. That's just me. And, even Cole said that when he was talking to me yesterday.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So whatever. Yeah. So anyways, okay. So now what people mean when they are talking about carbs and fat, in other words, to make it easier to drop weight or to use as fuel, if you're going to go high carb, keep it low fat. If you're going to go higher fat, keep it very low carb. And if you're going to kind of have a little bit of both, staying within your caloric intake, whatever it is for you, you're really going to have to track. If you're going to play with both of them, you're going to really have to track.
So that's what I was being told by a macro coach is, and I was tracking on my FitnessPal, like diligently, the fats and this is false though, but she told me the fats and the carbohydrates don't matter as long as you're within calorie range and you've hit your protein. But I like way better what you're saying. And that is, if you're going to have high carb, have like low or no fat. If you're going to have high fat, just don't have carbs. That's it.
Yeah. One or the other. And you know what? Truth be told, I had a deviation from my health and fitness in 2018 and 2019. I ballooned up to 188 pounds. You guys can see my story on my Instagram. When I lost weight during shutdown, what your macro coach told you, that's honestly how I lost weight. All I ever counted was my caloric intake, and I started high because if you're gonna count calories, if you are people, you want to start at your highest possible, because if you don't, where are you going to go? You're going to hit a stall. Everybody hits a stall when they lose weight. It's because your body is trying to reach homeostasis. So you will always hit a stall. So in order to combat that stall, you're either going to increase activity or lower the calories. That's why you want to start as high as you can. So I started as high as I could, right? Close to 2,000 calories. And that was my deficit. And it just titrated down as I lost weight, right? I ended my cut around 1,300 calories. And then I had to reverse diet. But that's another conversation. Anyways, I would just track my protein and made sure that I did not go over my calories. And those are the only two things I tracked: my calories and my protein, making sure I was hitting so it did work because I lost 50 pounds doing it like that. But again, and this is probably why Cole speaks the way he does, is because not everybody wants to be that detail oriented and to track. Not everybody wants to do that. So
literally, I feel like I have tracking trauma. Like,
yeah. So
like I don't ever want to track again. It's so.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And I understand.
Over, like I would have days where I would need to go over by 300 or 500 calories, and I would feel so shitty, but nothing would change on my body. I just needed more calories that day. But did you
start at the highest amount that you could, or like did you? Because sometimes people just slash.
You know what? I was in maintenance. I was trying to get pregnant during that time, so I wasn't ready. This is like a few years, yeah. So I was never in a cut. I was just doing maintenance and building, like recomping, and it was working. And so, after like you were saying, like after a really heavy leg day or something, the next day or that same day, I would be hungrier. And so I would eat like 300 calories more. And I would be so stressed out by that number on my tracker, but nothing would change in a negative way the next day. Like I was fine. And so I hate tracking. And that's why I really love this way that we're doing. Yes. We just have to be accountable to ourselves, like every day. Rather than just resting on a calorie counter or on a macros split or whatever. So
Yeah, exactly. And I'm all in with this. Like, I love it. But I know that's why I was saying how I relate to Mark Bell, because he's going to Scotland or Ireland. I don't know. He's going on a trip. And he was talking about how there's going to be some days on the trip where he's going to pivot and maybe have more of a keto day because he knows what's going to be going on.
Right.
And then the next day he'll, have his fruit or whatever. So he was talking about pivoting. So I totally believe in that. However, I do like the food choice, the lean meats, lean poultry, egg whites, white fish, shrimp, even red meat. You can get like the 96.4, lean meat, like, you know what I mean? And all that. And then the fat-free Greek yogurt and the fruits and the veggies. I mean, that's like how everyone should eat, I think.
Yes,
exactly.
exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's perfect.
Oh,
Yeah,
this is so fun.
yes.
Do you have anything else? I know you want to go have dinner with your family and you should go do that. But do you have anything else to add that we may not have talked about up until now?
Honestly, just that I love biohacking. I love, figuring things out. So if you guys watch me on YouTube, like, well, I don't know. I block people who get too ridiculous, but just know that just know that, like, I do like to experiment. So it's not me changing my mind all the time. It's like, oh, okay, I'm where I want to be right now. And oh, I want to play with this and see how this works. I kind of will always be that way.
Right. So
I
get
don't know.
over it, people. Trolls,
Yeah.
get over it. So Be Bunch, someone in my chat is saying, can it be like the trim healthy mama people say and just separate them in meals, but not as a lifestyle?
Oh, is she saying like one meal could be a
Yeah,
high carb and
yeah.
then another
As long as
meal?
they're 3 hours apart, she's saying.
Oh, I have heard that before because I remember a long time ago. That's why, like, oh, I don't know if you guys have heard of carb backloading.
Yeah. What is
Right?
that? Can you explain what
It's
that is?
like one of my bodybuilder friends put me on that one time, long time ago, and I totally get it. So basically, you're eating protein and fat throughout the day, not super high fat, but just, kind of like the lean meats that we're talking about have enough fat in them, right? And like eggs and turkey bacon, and then like, chicken and veggies, ground like turkey and veggies, kind of like that throughout the day. And then at night, you carb backload. That's when you have your carbs. And because I was doing it for composition, it wasn't junk carbs, but he said that, maybe one day a week, you could make that carb night a little dirtier. But it was like, whatever lean fish with sweet potatoes. And then you can follow that up with fruit and whatever. But one night a week was a dirty backload,
So did that
but
work?
it did work. You know why? And the people don't like to talk about calories, but whatever your goal is, if your goal is to increase weight, as long as you're in a caloric surplus, it will work. If you're trying to drop weight, as long as you're in a deficit, it will work. So it did because I made sure I was in a deficit and it did work. You asked me one thing, and this is one thing I want to say really quick.
Yeah.
When people come to me, a lot of times women, and this is what when Cole says, sometimes I feel like I need to be an interpreter for Cole, but like when he says, sometimes, sorry, and he's like, sometimes you have to take a few steps back before going through it. He's really talking about reverse dieting. So when people come to me and I'm like, they want to lose weight, I have them do a baseline week where you need to weigh yourself every day. You need to track your steps every day, and you need to track every day. Don't change anything. Just do what you've already been doing, but just track every part of it. And then I see their baseline for 1 or 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh, you're averaging this amount of movement. This is your average weight. This is the average of what you're taking in. So this is your baseline. This is where you're maintaining. So from here, if it's a good amount, if it's like the good amount of calories, right? And they have like, X amount to lose, I'm like, okay, we can start a cut. A lot of times they want to lose 70, 80 pounds. I'm like, no, we got to reverse diet. You can't cut from here. You're already too low.
Right.
So reverse dieting is so important. And I think that because women especially have such a long history of dieting, they're metabolically lower than they could be. So, sometimes they have to reverse diet before they even start dieting because, it's just, where are you going to end up? If you're maintaining at 1,500 calories and you got 50 pounds to lose,
right,
you need to reverse diet.
Right. So what you would say, reverse diet to a normal maintenance, like for your height and weight, a normal maintenance calorie level. And then how long would you tell people to keep that before cutting again?
And so reverse diet, the way I like to do it, I like to do it slower because I don't want them to be traumatized by gaining weight. So, so we usually go up, we keep the protein where it's at, wherever it is ideal for them. And then I just use the fat and carb grams up. So whatever I use in those grams, it usually ends up being like equal to like 100 calories.
Right.
So, whatever that is. And each week, just that much, so that your body slowly adapts to it.
Right.
And because I've done it to myself, I've done reverse dieting a couple of times, and so it's just in the bodybuilding space, it's very common. And so, they just do that. Once you get there, and sometimes it'll take a few months. Once you get like at a good amount of energy, where you can then, I would say, hang out there for a little while. For a few weeks, just like hang out there. So your body gets adapted to that and then start cutting. But so at least you're cutting from a higher place. And usually when you reverse diet, if you do it slowly, you only gain a few pounds, if you do it slowly. Some people don't want to do it slowly, so they do faster and they'll put on some weight, fine, whatever. But then, so that's what, when Coles is saying, sometimes you have to take a few steps back before you really, start moving forward. That's honestly what he's talking about. Yeah. And he can correct me if that's not, but that's what I think he's talking about.
Oh my God, Ayana, so fun. Thank you so much for making the time and putting up with all the tech issues. We figured it out. It was so lovely to chat with you in real life, but not really.
Yeah, right. But kind of. Yeah.
Live. And all our favorite followers were here, and hopefully all the other ones will catch the replay.
Yes.
We love you guys, audience. Mwah, and it was so fun. So let's do it again sometime.
Yes, we will, for sure.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.